Hello everyone, this is Hank. Hey, today I'm going to talk about exposure simulation, what it is, when and to use it, and when not to use it. Okay, so without further ado, as you can see as the lower right, just above the ISO 640, you see the symbol exp.sim. That signifies that exposure simulation has been enabled. Now if you don't see that, you go to the menu item, shoot 3 and go down to exposure simulation and enable it there. Okay, there's 3 choices. You either enable it or disable it. Now there's another choice during that symbol, and what that means is that you can choose it so that exposure simulation is only activated when you press the depth of field preview button, which is something that you need to program for the RP as well. I have a separate video that talks about how to do that. Okay, so now today we're going to deal with either enable or disable it. Okay, so default I believe is enable. Okay, so what is exposure simulation? What it is like the camera, the RP simulates the screen that you are looking at, either the LCD or the electronic viewfinder, the EVF. It will show you exactly what the sensor is going to record when you take a picture. So that's really useful. We all have heard of the term, what you see is what you get, right? So this is the closest thing to that. Now the only thing that it doesn't simulate is a depth of field. So you don't see the depth of field. It doesn't simulate that, but it simulates everything else. So it's really convenient, and that's why it is a default. Okay, now so my recommendation is to use this all the time, with a couple of exceptions. The exception is when you're in low light condition. Okay, either you're taking pictures at night using flash or something to that effect. Okay, the biggest problem is like when you're using flash, so it cannot simulate that very well. So when you have low light condition, exposure simulation is actually hurting you more than help. Okay, and let me give you an example. For example, right now, okay, like say I'm in a studio and I'm using strobes with modeling lights. Okay, modeling lights light up the room pretty well, except that if you set the proper exposure for your strobe, the modeling light doesn't have enough light. So in this case, the camera with exposure simulation may show you that, hey, it's trying to simulate it without the flash turning on, so it's really dark. Example, like say if I'm in a studio and I would want my ISO to be 100, right? And I want my my speed to be 250 because some kids are jumping around, maybe even 320, and then I wanted to capture both the background and the foreground, so I want my my aperture to be a little high, let's say f8. Okay, now as you can see, with exposure simulation in this scenario, which is a fairly reasonable scenario, you can't see anything. Okay, so now if I try to take a focus, it may or may not even catch it. Now if I'm focusing manual, like say if I'm taking a night picture, Milky Way or something, I can't even see the screen. Okay, so in that scenario, when you see that you can't even do anything with it, you know, it's like completely dark on there and you can't even focus, just remember, turn off exposure simulation. And I'll show you that. Okay, so you go in here, you disable it, and voila, you can see. So before it was completely pitch black, right? So now the only catch is, like, this is not a true representation. If you take a picture now, you're gonna get a black picture, because if you press the shutter button halfway, the exposure scale there tells you that you are way underexposed, more than 3 stops. Okay, so you gotta be careful with the exposure simulation turn off. You gotta be careful, but at least you will be able to see so that you can focus. Correct? Okay, so that is when not to use it and when to use it. And I hope you like this, and I thank you for watching. And if you haven't, please subscribe and like my video. Thank you.